Alright everyone, it is Dokkan time again, and I apologize once again for this being stupidly late. But this is going to be the how to build for the Mini Vegeta and Mini Goku EZA, and I think they're about roughly, honestly, they're about roughly the same as the STR Glorio and INT Pansy in that respect. They're not better than either of those two, but they are virtually the exact same thing. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, my name is Saiyan, and I typically make Dokkan Battle how to build videos for hidden potential and how to use the units. And I plan on making more Dragon Ball S content going into the new year. So if that all sounds good to you, please go ahead and spiral kick the like button and then Kamehameha the subscribe button, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. So first of all, we go over the breakdown of the unit, and then we go through the defense, build suggestions, and then roll tips, and we're just going to do both of the units at one after another on breakdown, defense, build suggestion, and roll tips. So we'll start off with Vegeta, as he is the better of the two, and yes, Vegeta for once is better than Goku. So as far as his 200% leader options go, he's going to have a couple obvious ones, such as like Vegeta family areas and gifted warriors and so forth. But his primary homes are, no matter what, going to be kind of more centered still towards Daima, as most of the Daima units are kind of centered towards each other in general. So you're going to be looking for typically Dragon Ball Seeker or pure Saiyans type of stuff here. Now, INT Mini Vegeta can go on to his Super Saiyan 3 units leader, but the Goku cannot. So just do keep that in mind if you do decide to use the physical Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta as a leader. Otherwise, a good kind of middle ground for both of these units would be the Super Saiyan Daima Goku. Otherwise, if you were lucky on your summons, then obviously the Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku would be better. Now, moving on to his actual leader skill. Remember, this is a free-to-play unit. All types keep plus 3 HP attack and defense of 70%. He greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. His basic effects as follows are attack and defense of 200%, all allies keep plus 2 and defense of 50%, and if there's another Dragon Ball Seeker ally attacking in the same turn, plus an additional key plus 1 in attack and chance of performing a critical hit plus 20%. Now, I would like to note here, this is kind of like one of those times where it's like, is that really how that reads? Is that really that shockingly good and decent? And the answer to that question is yes, this is true. This is exactly how it reads on his support. His support is for all allies, key plus 2 and defense of 50%, and if there's a Dragon Ball Seeker category ally attacking in the same turn with him, then he also supplies everyone with another additional key plus 1 and another additional attack plus 20%, and another, well, not another, but a 20% chance to critical. So yes, this Vegeta is supporting all allies on rotation with 20% chance to crit. So if you were ever thinking that the Daima Goku, the tech one, didn't have enough crit chance, well, here's your extra crit, essentially. So do keep in mind that he is supporting defense of 50% and attack of 20% and critical hit of 20% to all allies, so long as there is another Seeker attacking in the same turn. Now moving on, he does have guard, and he also has a 50% chance to dodge with 30% damage reduction. And for every attack received or evaded, he has attack and defense of 50% up to 250, which means you need to you need to receive an attack or dodge an attack 5 times. Now, chance of performing a critical hit also goes up by 20%. This is just an infinite one. So essentially, as soon as you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, after 5 attacks, once again, you will have a 100% crit chance with this Vegeta. Now, when there is another ally whose name includes Daima, Glorio, or Pansy attacking in the same turn, he gets another 20% chance to dodge, and he launches a free additional super attack. So essentially, he only has 70% chance to dodge, but at the same time, he is an intelligence unit, and he already has some dodge built in. So, I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory of how you should be utilizing this guy. Now, Link skills is Saiyan Warrior Race, Prodigies, Experience Fires, Saiyan Lineage, Royal Lineage, Prayer for Battle, and Shattering the Limit. He's going to link well with a decent amount of Vegetas specifically, but he also will... Oh, excuse me. He will also link with several of the other Gokus and so forth. I mean, there's going to be a couple links, obviously, that are not going to go off, like Royal Lineage and Prodigies that are going to go off that often, but there is quite a few free-to-play-esque options, and Saiyan Warrior Race and Experienced Fires, Prepared for Battle. Even Saiyan Lineage will probably be going off from time to time. He does link well with the physical Goku as well. But anyways. So actually, that's pretty much it to do with Vegeta. So let's just go ahead and move on to Goku. Now, Mini Goku is going to be built very similarly. Their kits are almost identical, except for a couple differences. Now, Goku's leaders do have a couple other options, of course. Him being on Turtle School and Accelerated Battle and so forth and henceforth. Kamehameha, so he does have a couple other options, but at the same time, he's also going to have the same restriction. He's going to need to be with Daima, Glorio, Pansy, or he also needs to be running with Seekers. So your basic kind of leaders you're going to be aiming for are still going to be Super Saiyan 4 Tech, Daima Goku, and then the Intelligence Daima Goku and the Physical Glorio will be fine, of course. I do want to say that he also should sit nicely also on the AGL Kid Goku team, so long as you're actually partnering him up with another Daima unit specifically, and you should be pretty much fine. But I wouldn't say fine for, well, I wouldn't say with current content. So let's just get over it. He is an all types key plus 3 HP attack and defense 70% leader, of course. He greatly raises attack and defense, so exact same thing as Vegeta. Now, basic effects, though, are going to be different a little bit. Now, attack and defense is 200%. His support is all allies key plus 2 attack plus 50%. If there is another Dragon Ball Seeker ally attacking in the same turn. Plus an additional key plus 1 and defense of chance to perform critical hit by 20%. So there is one thing to note here is that obviously these two were meant to kind of be ran next to each other. They wanted to kind of complement their support a little bit. Essentially, if you had both the Daima Kid Goku or Mini Goku and then Mini Vegeta on the same attacking rotation, you would effectively have a key plus 4 and attack and defense of 70% and 40% crit chance given off to each other and whoever the third unit on the rotation is. Now, he also launches an additional super attack, and then he has a 30% chance of performing a critical hit, and he has a damage reduction rate of 30%. Now, for every attack performed, he gets an additional 50% attack and defense up to 250, and chance to perform a critical hit. So once again, he has pretty much auto crits, like almost right off the bat. And when there's another ally whose name includes Daima, Glorio, or Pansy attacking in the same turn, another damage reduction rate of 20%, and launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a 30% chance of becoming a super attack. So this is kind of where it falls off for me, which once again, it's the same thing that happened specifically with Pansy and Glorio. But I will say that Mini Vegeta and Mini Goku didn't come out at the same time. They were not released together. They kind of awakened together, of course, and then they EZA'd together. But I didn't really expect this to happen. So essentially what's happened here is that we have a unit that has 50% damage reduction rate, and he auto crits, and he can potentially have his, well, let's see here, initial super attack, so that's 1. He's got a second super attack for free, and then he launches 2 extra additional attacks, which each have a 30% chance of being a super attack, which is pretty low, unfortunately. So that's a total of 4 potential super attacks coming out of him. And then, of course, you have your hidden potential, so you could potentially penta super in a turn. It's very, very, very unlikely with 30% chances, unfortunately. I mean, 30% is pretty bloody low. But it still is a chance, per se. It is possible. We'll get more into it when we go into the defense. I don't want to go off. I don't want to lose it like I did with Glorio on the Pansy and Glorio video. I really don't want to do that again. Going on to his link skills, Saiyan Warrior Race, All in the Family, Experience Fire, Saiyan Lineage, Shocking Speed, Prayer for Battle, and Shattering the Limit. So with the Vegeta, you'll share Saiyan Warrior Race, experienced fighters, prepared for battle, Saiyan lineage, and shattering the limit. So you'll have some pretty good links linked up with that Vegeta if it comes onto that. Now, as far as his link partners go, yes, there's going to be several characters that you can be linking with that are all Gokus. I know a lot of people also have been asking about this manga Goku. I will be doing his video alongside the other manga characters upon their release. I am not doing his right now. But anyways, all of these other Gokus are going to link well with him. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to look for a unit with All in the Family that's going to proc with him. You want to look for units that are going to Saiyan lineage, shocking speed, prepared for battle. You really want to give him as much defense as possible because unfortunately he just doesn't have as much defense as you think he should or would. But to show what I mean, let's just go look at his defense numbers. Alright, so these defense calculations are going to be complements of not Halvard, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Old habits die hard. Blood Raven. The defense are complements of Blood Raven. Freaking stupid brain. So for Goku, we're just gonna get to the worst part here. Full rainbow defense calculations. He has pretty low numbers here. So without any support, turn 1, if he magically penta supered, he would be at maybe 1.7 million defense. So a maximum of close to almost 4 million damage he can tank if he's supered every time. Now with 50% support and turn 1, you can potentially get up to a flat even 2 million once again after actually performing a full amount of supers. And if we get into a 50% support, full build up, 2 Super Saiyan 4 mini Daima Goku buffs off rotation, you can get up to about a 2.3 million defense range. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is pretty disappointing because even the STR Glorio is a little bit better than this guy. And that's pretty sad because the bar is already pretty low, in all honesty. It's pretty low. But STR Glorio is actually better than this mini EZA Daima Goku, which is very sad because I really do like the card art on him. He's got a really good support system on him. But I mean, I suppose you can get these up a little bit instead of just calculating for prepared for battle. If you could take into consideration of always getting like a 70% support instead. Because 50% support isn't really that realistic, I'll be honest with you. This is kind of more of around the lowest number for him. But at the same time, more than likely, he's not going to be penta supering every single turn. So it's not actually that low or that high of a chance either. Because here's the thing. I would say on average, probably on average, you will probably get off a total of 3 super attacks with the mini Goku at best. 30% chance is just way too low, man. It is absurdly low, and the only time I allow a 30% chance to really slip in there too much is if the unit is just that bad, or if it's a full dodge unit. A full dodge unit is a full dodge unit. You know, you know what you're getting into with a dodge unit. But for Goku, who has no dodge mechanic, he's just got his 50% damage reduction and all these additionals, and they're not stacking up enough to even tank current minimum level super attacks. This is where I have the problem with a unit. And current level minimum is 6 million at the very least. Because we have 9 millions, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 million super attacks that can come out right out the bloody gate. Now, it doesn't mean that this unit has to be, you know, good enough for all that content. He's a free-to-play unit, which is perfectly fine. My problem is that the literal other character that is EZAing with him has a 70% dodge chance mechanic built into him with support on top of that, and actually does have about roughly the same amount of defense. Now, this Vegeta can tank normals for the most part. He can pretty much tank normals because he has a little bit of defensive mechanics alongside it. This Vegeta has freaking guard. He has 30% damage reduction. That alone right there already makes him tank just a little bit better. And not to mention the fact of, like, say, Path to Power Kid Goku off rotation. We're not taking into consideration of a lot of different buffs that we can give this unit. So, and the fact that he's only calculating with straight up just a 5% prepared for battle and none of his other defensive links means that this number can only go up. And, I mean, you're only going to probably get a double super with this Vegeta at best, unless you do invest a little bit more additional into him. But I honestly think as a 70% support dodging unit with a guard and 30% damage reduction, I'd say he's still a lot better than the Goku. Mind you, his defense, like I said, he's dodge or die on super, so is the Kid Goku, but he has a 70% chance to dodge. A 70% chance to dodge is much more reliable than a couple extra additional attacks that come out of the Mini Goku that are only 30% chance to even proc, and you won't even tank anyways. So, not to mention the all allies key plus 2 and defensive 50% is a lot more valuable than the key plus 2 attack plus 50%. It's just night and day. It really is just night and day with this Vegeta and that Goku. The Vegeta is immensely better. He just really is immensely better. Their defense numbers should not be anywhere near each other. Goku's should be hitting into the 3.5 million range, and that would have been great. That would have been fantastic. And I'm sure with all of the support on the team, he does hit somewhere around there if he penta supers. But unless he's penta supering or at least quad supering every turn, then more than likely he's gonna die. And I just don't think that's worth chancing. I really don't. There's other support. There's tons of support options on the Daima team. Like, there's so much support just fueled into the Daima name for Dokkan right now. You got Physical Glory, you got Pansy, you got Vegeta, you got the Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku. I mean, just about every single one of these suckers, Mini Piccolo, almost every single Daima mini unit is supporting each other. And that's not an understatement. In fact, I think the only one that doesn't support, I'm not gonna lie, I think the only Daima unit that doesn't support, because Super Saiyan Mini Goku does support off rotation with attack. I think the only one that doesn't is this. Nope. He does too. The Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta also supports allies on rotation by defensive 33%. Now, mind you, that's not a huge amount, but that's still something. It's just, you have so much support flooding everywhere from the Daima name, and then you got Goku over here with virtually nothing. It's not worth it. He's not worth it. I wish he was, but he's not. Anyways, I kind of went off on it again, so I do have to apologize once again. I shouldn't be going off on this. They're free to play units. I should treat them as such. So. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the build suggestions. We're going to start off with Vegeta, of course, and it should be pretty straightforward and honest. Full dodge. He's just a full dodge support unit, and it's pretty plain and simple. I think if you really want to, you could sacrifice a silver or gold level 5 and pump it into his additional to give him just a tiny little bit of extra dodge chance rather than just the natural 12 right there if you really wanted to. But otherwise, I really would, and already did personally. I already gave him a full dodge kit. So I think his dodge is going to be reliable enough. I mean, if he doesn't dodge a super, oh well. There's loads of units on the Daima-esque team that are all mostly dodge or die anyways on super attacks, so it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm getting immune to all these crazy mechanics. But anyways, yeah, I don't think there's any reason to really go around it. If Vegeta was like Pansy and actually had some different abilities for the super attack, I would actually take a little bit of extra consideration of maybe additional. But because he doesn't have anything else upon super attacking, I just don't really see much of a reason. Him doing super attacks doesn't do much for him. So I would rather him do his job, dodge, support, and move on. Now, speaking of moving on, let's move on to Goku's build. And Goku's build is more centered towards the I do not wish to take him into current level content. I want him to do his job. I want him to do what he can do, which is a bunch of additionals. He's got free crits. I would say take this fool into just normal-esque, free-to-play-esque content, and just do that. He's a physical type, so he already starts off at level 5 additional, so you can get a natural level 20. If you pump a silver level 5 with a level 2 bronze additionals, you can pump that up to 27, which is a 54% chance to be additionaling, which is more than his passive does. But because he is so weak, and I do mean because he is so dramatically weak on the defensive department, I really do got to say that you just should maybe take a level 5 gold or silver orb that you have and give him just a little bit more dodge, because the remaining nodes that you have are going to go into dodge. There's no reason to give this guy crit because he auto crits. But yeah, you really just need to give him a little bit more dodge. Now, obviously, if you want to be daring, of course, and take him into current content, and you have excessively prayed to RNGesus on your life, and, you know, 50, or actually the maximum of like 27, a maximum of 27 dodge if you really wanted to, then go up, by all means, go crazy, go nuts, that's all on you. But me, personally, I'm just going to take him into stuff I know he's going to survive in and know that he'll be fine. His support isn't worth it to me when Mini Vegeta exists. So, honestly, Mini Goku's is what kind of held back the making of this video, because I was trying my hardest and darndest to find some area of viability to be utilizing him like the Mini Vegeta, but I just couldn't do it. So I'm just going to say, build him however you wish. This is how I'm going to build him, and just take him into content I know he'll survive in. So, moving on. With their build suggestions out of the way, we're just going to go into the role tips, which is the final part of this video. So for Mini Vegeta specifically, we're just going to suggest the Physical Glorio, the Super Saiyan 4 Mini Goku, the Super Saiyan 3 Mini Vegeta, and then the Super Saiyan Mini Daima Goku. All of these are perfectly fine teams for him. I think he should rock pretty well. I mean, his job is straight up just dodging and supporting, so I mean, there's not really any loss here. In fact, on a double Glorio team, you're already floating off both Glorios pretty much the entire time. Putting him there, he's just floating off too, and you just got a perfect floating set of units. Partner-wise, he doesn't necessarily have a quote-unquote partner, because he probably will... I've got to stop recording at 1 a.m. and hitting chords. As far as a partner goes, he doesn't really have a partner per se. He has a lot of support units that will go along with him. They all have the Daima name. They have name of Daima, Pansy, Glorio. Those are all the key markers here on his passive, including that they're all on the Seeker category, which is activating the rest of his passive fully. So essentially, these are all just units to activate his passive and let him do his job, not necessarily his best partner per se. And that's going to be the other thing that you'll have to understand and make sure you be aware of moving forward. Unless there's a Seeker on the rotation, at the very bare minimum, at the least, then I would just not suggest throwing him on any other team other than Daima's team, or at least one that isn't able to have a Daima unit on both rotations, so that you can make sure his passive is going off at all points of time. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, his best slot position is just straight up slot 3. Unlike Pansy, he doesn't have 80% dodge, he has only 70%. And I do feel like that extra 10% does make it so that he should not be thrown into slot 1 if you're being super edgy and, well, wanting to be daring. I think a 70% dodge chance, he just needs to be either in slot 2 or slot 3. Obviously, he's a supporter. He can't tank supers, and he can barely tank normals, so he should just be floating off, supporting, and dodging. Now, moving on to Mini Goku. Mini Goku is going to be literally the exact same build. It does not really matter as to, you know, anything else. He is still a support unit primarily. He's going to be on the same types of leaders, minus the Super Saiyan 3 Mini Vegeta. Instead, he will be having a nicer little home with the AGL Kid Goku. Partner-wise will be literally the exact same partners. You want to keep Dragon Ball Seeker. You want to be on Daima. And then, of course, the other Vegeta will be a nice partner for him. Unlike Goku, Vegeta can be on rotation with a 70% dodge chance and being able to survive normals at the very least. Whereas Goku can barely survive normals and he does not tank supers, and he has not a good enough defensive mechanic to be tanking supers at all. So he needs to just be floated off safely. He needs to be basically wherever is the safest position, which is typically slot 3, so that he is removed from battle basically for 3 turns. So he just needs to be a floated off unit in general. Unless you're going into free-to-play content, and then by all means just throw him wherever. Well, not wherever, probably more like slot 2. He's still pretty weak on defense. But I think that's pretty much it, unfortunately. There wasn't really too much to say about these two. Really, the real holdback on these guys that I had all week was essentially just, how can I make this Mini Goku worth using on other teams? And there just isn't enough support to really benefit him, unfortunately. There just really isn't. The defense numbers are not, unfortunately, good enough. I wish that they were, but when your maximum defense hinges on 30% chances to additional, and it's less than 3 million at that point, and you, on average, will only double super, and that's less than 2 million defense, that's just not good enough for me. It's really not. If he had a dodge mechanic like STR Glorio, then I would maybe argue it a little, because even STR Glorio is better than this guy, and that's pretty sad and unfortunate. Mini Vegeta is super nice, though. I love Mini Vegeta a little bit. That extra 20% crit chance is actually insane to me. It's just going to come in handy every now and again. So, anyways, guys, thank you for bearing with me in my ramblings of a crazy old bald man Saiyan. And let me know what teams you try to rock with this Vegeta. Is that extra 50% defense and 20% crit chance to all the allies on rotation worth using with him? And yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a good day and a good night.